Hey, 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 happy Tuesday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Gaming Gang Dispatch is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch, brought to you by thegaminggang.com, which I happen to be the Grand Poobah. That's right, I am the founder and editor-in-chief of the Gaming Gang. So welcome aboard. Tonight is Tuesday, November 9th, 2021. This is live stream 714. If this is your first time joining me, let me point out, super casual around here. We just hang out, talk about the latest in tabletop gaming news, as well as take first looks at tabletop games. So tonight, I am going to share kind of sneak peeks, first looks at the two Paizo Inc. adventures that are coming this month. In fact, I believe they arrive tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow. I think it's the 10th. I do know the PDFs are going to be available tomorrow. But we are going to take a look at the Pathfinder Adventure, Doorway to the Red Star, which is part 5 of the Strength of Thousands Adventure Path. And Sammy Uhas is reviewing this adventure path for us so far. And then we're going to take a peek at Starfinder. That's right. It's going to be Whispers of the Eclipse, which is the 3rd chapter in the Horizons of the Vast adventure path, which I am doing reviews of. So that is what we've got on the horizon tonight. Cool deal. Let me get everything kind of situated here. I was running a little bit late tonight, but we got everything so far. Like nothing's falling apart yet. I don't have any videos to mess up today. Hey, here's this Kickstarter video for... Oh, no, that's not it. Where did I put that video? What happens when it's a live show, right? Anyway, if you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, ding that bell. It'll not only let you know when the Dispatch streams live Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evenings right here on YouTube at 7 p.m. Central. It'll also let you know when I upload other videos, such as my upcoming review of the new edition of Galaxy Trucker from Czech Games Edition. So find out if this is worth the wait, because it is streamlined. I will tell you that right off the bat. Plays a lot faster. I got to be first to admit, I had never played Galaxy Trucker before receiving this review copy, but I do know that it took a bit of time. And as far as I could tell, I mean, the games we've played have been pretty quick. Not like 20 minutes quick, but none of them have gone even close to an hour. All right. Should also mention, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Do want to point out, Sammy's got a review of Orbital Blues, which is a very impressive looking role-playing game that is coming up. That will be up on Thursday. So I tell people all the time, if you don't visit thegaminggang.com, you miss out on a lot, because I have a trio of correspondents who provide RPG reviews, and you miss out. We don't do videos with them. So if you're not going over there checking that stuff out, you are missing out, especially if you are a role-playing game fan. Remember that. Finally, do want to mention that this is a live stream. So obviously, that means you're going to have chat available. It's not on screen. It's one of the ways I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. But if you want to say howdy, or maybe you got a question, a comment, by all means, chime in. I will do my best to respond. Do want to mention sometimes chat zips by pretty quickly, or I'm in the midst of discussing something, or we're taking a look at the game and I missed something. If it's something like you really want me to comment on, you might need to pop it up there more than once. Anyhow, so let's see who we got in chat tonight. So the Madman, the Motor City Madman, is the first out the gate. Hunter Perkins has joined us again and points out that they broke their toe, but they're not going to miss the review. Actually, there's no reviews tonight. It's these are just previews of the two adventures. Although, to be honest, I am ready to do my review of the Starfinder adventure, but that's not tonight. So, Disavow 92 is with us. Omanal has joined us as well. Speaking of one of our RPG correspondents at the Gaming Gang, JP Falconer Honor is with us too. Good to see them swinging on in. It's been a little while since we've seen JPF in chat. Omanal says nobody wants to hear his voice or see his face. You're preaching to the choir, brother. It's like, yep, I got a face for radio and a voice for silence. All right. Let's see. Yep, I think I've covered everybody in chat. Sweet. So let's jump on into the news. And then after the news, I've got a couple of things to talk about. There was one thing I was going to mention yesterday, and then I even said, hey, after the news, I'm going to talk a little more about it. Completely zoned. I tried to segue relatively quickly into the RuneQuest starter set unboxing because I know we had some first timers hanging out last night, and people, if they don't watch the stream, they're not used to the show. They don't know how it works. That it's like, oh, so we do the news, and sometimes we'll talk about something that's going on or what's cooking, and then we move into the first look, or on occasion we do reviews, right? So I kind of wanted to get into that a little quicker before people were like, hey, where's RuneQuest? We want RuneQuest. Anyway, JPF says they were hyped the other day when I mentioned Levy and Mass is coming to Kickstarter. It is. And so is Cruel Necessity from my good friend John Welsh. That's right. I've got the scoop. I've got the exclusive. But the thing is, there's no info yet. So all I can tell you is John Welsh had talked to Worthington Publishing, which, interestingly enough, I've got a news piece about tonight, and asked, is it okay if I give Jeff the exclusive that's happening? And they said, yeah, sure. So there you go. I will try to get John to do an interview again. We did an interview about a year ago, and John's such a good guy, super nice guy, and he's always fun. He's always fun to talk to. Flaming Herons joined us in chat too, very nicely done. Flaming Herons mentioning that this just gets later and later. Yes, because of daylight saving time. Yes, I know. I'm one of these people. I think we should it's just year round, just do it. Because it's gotten to the point it's 8 months of the year anyway. And should mention, it is daylight saving time, not daylight savings time. A lot of people don't know that. All right, let's jump on into the news. Because there is an early December release. It's a family-friendly game that's caught my eye. It's from Roxley Games. I've got the skinny on. Chi. I think that's how it's pronounced. In Chi, you will step into the shoes of a tea merchant, combining tea flavors to make a perfect blend, specializing in either Rubios, green, oolong, black, or white tea. You will buy and collect what? No gray, no Earl Grey, what? You will buy and collect ingredients to fulfill your customers' orders. As a tea merchant, each turn you will do one of the following: visit the market, select additives, or reserve a customer. At the end of each turn, a player may complete a tea order from one customer card in their hand or visible in the customer pool. A base tea token, tea flavors, and additives shown on the card are needed ingredients, and they're placed in an empty teacup. The player flips over a tip and receives a coin bonus, moving the thermometer round tracker up one notch if all cups are filled. The game ends when 5 rounds of cups have been fulfilled. When the final order is completed, other players complete their last turn so that each player has played the same number of turns. To score, players add up their victory points from fulfilled customer orders and add their leftover money to this total. In a 3 to 5 player game, additional points are awarded to the players who fulfilled the most orders and most diverse tea recipes. Award ties are friendly, with each winner receiving 5 points. Player with the most victory points from customer orders, money, and awards wins the game as the best tea merchant. In the case of a tie, the person with the smallest number of fulfilled customer cards wins. If still tied, the person with the smallest amount of money wins. And if that doesn't break the tie, you guessed it, it's a shared victory. G is for 1 to 5 players ages 8 and up, plays in around 20 to 60 minutes. It's going to carry an MSRP of $49.99 when it arrives in stores in early December. Gotta say, this, so Omanal says Chiai is the way that they're used to hearing it. I don't know. I'm clueless. We already know I treat the English language as a second language. So when you throw things in from a foreign language, you know I'm going to butcher it. I mean, that just goes with the territory. My gosh. So Omanal is probably right. It probably is Chiai. I don't know. All right. Anyway, regardless of what this is called, I think this has a very interesting visual style to it. I think there's a deluxe edition as well that has actual cups that you place the ingredients in. I think there's also like almost looks like bakelite. So it almost looks like little bakelite pieces as opposed to just plastic. I don't know. I got to be honest. What I'm showing you here, I believe, is the standard edition that's going to carry the MSRP of $49.99. So Flaming Heron says, not my drink of choice. No, I very rarely drink any tea. Usually it's if I'm under the weather, then I might drink some. There's a new board game from designer Pierre Sylvester that people are excited about. It is also arriving early next month. Here's the details on Brian Boru, High King of Ireland. And Brian Boru, High King of Ireland, you strive to unite, you guessed it, Ireland under your domain, securing control through might, cunning, and matrimony. Join forces. How about English, Jeff? Join forces. Defend off Viking invaders. Build monasteries to extend your influence and gather support in towns and villages throughout the land. To become High King of all Ireland, you need to navigate a web of shifting alliances, outmaneuver your enemies, and grab history by the reins. I was going to say something else. The success of the historical Brian Boru rested on 3 pillars: his victories against the Vikings, the favor he managed to garner with the church, and the alliances he forged through political marriages. This became the foundation of the game, with each pillar becoming a suit in the trick-taking that forms the core of the mechanisms. Win a trick and you gain influence in a town, which in turn gains you majorities in the regions. If you lose the trick, however, deliberately or otherwise. You instead take an action corresponding to the suit of that card. Some key points of the game. It's a game of power struggles in 11th century Ireland, aimed squarely at the hobby market from the award-winning designer of The Lost Expedition and The King is Dead. The second in a planned series of heavier games after Merv, The Heart of the Silk Road, which has a review coming up shortly, to make Osprey a serious contender in the expanding Eurogame market where Osprey's visual design is ahead of the curve. It also pairs an innovative trick-taking mechanism with a cutthroat area control game, delivering a tense and rewarding gaming experience. Brian Boru, High King of Ireland, is for 3 to 5 players, ages 14 and up, plays in 60 to 90 minutes. It's going to carry an MSRP of $60 when it arrives in early December as well. I think it might be December 1st. I am not positive. December 1st is the date that a distributor is showing, but we do know on occasion those distributor dates are way off. But this looks pretty cool. I think, if I remember correctly, I believe I have a copy of this that's coming from Osprey for me to share with you and, of course, to do a review of. Okay, so that's kind of a war game. Let's talk about an actual war game. Because I had mentioned Worthington Publishing earlier. Well, they've released an Amazon exclusive war game, which is a book game. Here's the dope on Bismarck Solitaire. Command the pride of the German Navy in Bismarck Solitaire, an original book game by Worthington Publishing. Lead the German ships Bismarck, Prince Eugene, and U-boat support as they take on the determined Royal Navy with one goal: sink the Bismarck. You have 8 missions of varying objectives and difficulty, plus 2 training cruises. Each mission gives you 3 tries to best the Royal Navy. Some missions require you to find convoys. Others expect you to sink a few British warships, while some just hope your ships can survive the sortie. Bismarck Solitaire is a pen and book game. In the book, you get a map and orders. You roll dice to see events, move your ship, fight battles, and resolve events. The only thing you have to provide is 2 dice, a pen, and a sense of adventure. A turn takes place with this. You roll 2 dice and cross-reference it to a chart to see events. Resolve the events, fight any battles, plot your movement on the map. Each mission gives you victory conditions, and once you obtain your victory conditions, that mission is over. Play missions over and over, as no 2 games are the same. Bismarck Solitaire is for 1 player, ages 13 and up, plays around 10 to 45 minutes per mission. It's available exclusively through Amazon for $29.95. Do want to mention, this is a book game. So it looked to me like it's your standard 11 by 8.5 size book. And it is a saddle stitched book. And you actually fill out things in the book as you play. So I would think most people, to get the most bang for their buck, would probably be, scanning the book so that they don't have to use up the missions, right on the missions in the book. Just a guess. I have to laugh, though, because just as an example, I don't know about anybody out there, but when I'm on Amazon, I tend to look to see what some of the questions and answers and sometimes what some of the reviews of something might be. And it just drives home that whole kind of joke that George Carlin had about the average person being an idiot, and keeping in mind that means half the people out there would be bigger idiots than the average person. There's somebody, they did a review for this, and they said it is exactly like the Avalon Hill game of the same name. I'm like, what? I'm like, okay, for one, Avalon Hill did not have a game called Bismarck Solitaire. In fact, if I remember correctly, I think it's called Sink the Bismarck. And it is not a solitaire game. And it's not in a book. It's like, what? If I remember right, I think they gave the game like 3 stars or something. So Christopher Rush is with us in chat. He says Amazon reviews are absolutely hilarious and equally depressing. Yes, it does. Christopher also points out that they are usually into modern warfare games, but this looks interesting. Owen says 2 and 4 star reviews are the ones worth reading. I agree. 1 stars, sometimes they're just, you're like, seriously? You gave it 1 star because of that? Or they just say, oh, this was crap. Well, that didn't help me. And then the 5 stars, you know what I don't understand is how do people review stuff who didn't purchase it? It's like, what? It's like people answer things. Answering the questions are even funnier because you'll have people answer the Amazon questions to be like, well, I don't own it, but it's like, well, then how can you answer this question? John Vogel's with us in chat. John's saying that they like the game. So we know John is not leaving a 1 star review on Amazon for it. This could be kind of cool, though. This could be kind of interesting. Thing that kind of throws me off a little bit is the fact that I think you get like 3 copies of each mission in the book, and that's it. So if you went by, how you're supposed to use it by writing in the book and everything else, then you would be like, only getting like 3 playthroughs. But like I said, there's always your scanner, right? Madman says George Takei has some hilarious Amazon reviews. I didn't realize that he's got some Amazon reviews. Let's move on to some role-playing game news because just arrived from Far Horizons Co-op is Brinkwood, the Blood of Tyrants. And here's the skinny. Mask up, spill blood, drink the rich. The world is not as it should be. The rich feed, literally, upon the poor as blood-sucking vampires who barely bother to conceal their horrific, parasitic nature. The downtrodden peoples of the world struggle under the burdens of rent, payable through the sweat of their labor or the blood of their veins. Evil has triumphed. Many have given in to despair, but all is not lost. In Brinkwood, you take on the role of renegades, thieves, and rebels, struggling for freedom and liberation in a castle punk, or I guess it's Castly punk world controlled by vampires. Radicalized by tragedy, you've taken up arms and fled into the forests, where you've been taken in by unlikely allies, the Fae, forgotten creatures of myth who offered a different path and the means to fight back against your oppressors. Masks, forged of old wood and older magic, are the final tool left to fight a war long ago lost. If you wear them, they will take their price, etching themselves upon your very soul. But they will also let you spill the blood of the rich and powerful vampires that now rule the land, and from that blood, strengthen yourself and your movement. Inside, you'll find rules to create your own brigand, combining a custom-tailored upbringing, profession, and class into a wholly unique character. A guide to the arcane masks given to you by the Fae. Choose each session whether to don the mask of judgment, lies, riot, ruin, terror, torment, or violence. It's a robust setting guide to the Bloody Isles, ruled by the 3 terrifying vampire lords you must contend with, the Proud Duke, the Elegant Countess, and the Tormented Baron. Lightning-quick engagement and disengagement rules designed for cutting straight to the action and focusing the game on the specific elements your playgroup wants to explore. There's an in-depth campaign system with multiple endgame scenarios designed to take you from an upstart peasant rebellion all the way to the final clashes of a full-fledged revolution. The 166-page PDF of Brinkwood, The Blood of Tyrants, is available at Drive-Thru RPG for $15. Ding, ding, ding. So JPF says that the game is already out of stock at Amazon. Wow, that's weird. I just saw it today. It was in stock. Wow. And of course, we are talking about Bismarck Solitaire. Omenal says they should just call it Politicians. Yeah, there you go. Brinkwood, the blood of politicians. Flaming Heron says Drive-Thru RPG's redesigned layout is back. Hopefully it doesn't have issues this time. I got to be honest, I've yet to see. Now, I was getting a link that I could click on to check out their new layout, their new design. And I took a peek a couple of times. But I always revert right back to the classic look. So I don't know. I guess some people are getting, maybe it's an Australian thing. I don't know. This sounds pretty interesting. This could be pretty cool. It is in one of those Forged in the Dark games, which is based on Blades in the Dark. And I will admit, on the Drive-Thru RPG page, there is a video for an actual play. I didn't realize it was an actual play. I thought maybe it was like a Kickstarter video or something like that. So I clicked on it to see if I could pull up some additional images. And it's an actual play. And the thing I can't figure out is there's two young women in the actual play. I think there's 5 people altogether. And they're like dressed like vampires and they have like blood on their mouths and that. And I'm thinking to myself, but I thought you're fighting the vampires. Why are you dressed like vampires? I don't get it. Flaming Heron says that the Drive-Thru RPG redesign layout crashed at the end of the Halloween sale. Aha, well, they were trying to pick up the last of their Halloween sale items, no doubt. So, Omnal says they're using Forged in the Dark as far as they're playing. Christopher asks, so Brinkwood is standalone? Yes, it is. It is a complete game. It is not a source book or anything like that. It is a complete role-playing game. My final news piece, there is a new adventure that's arrived for Achtung Cthulhu from Modiphius Entertainment. I should say it's Achtung Cthulhu 2D20. Here's the deets on the Romanian Imperative. Fly the Deadly Skies. It's February 1941, and after the fall of Tobruk in January, Churchill boldly told the U.S., give us the tools, and we will finish the job. Meanwhile, in Romania, a rather unusual occurrence attracts the attention of Section M. In the remote mountains near the village of Zoltan, a prototype Zeppelin named the Hugin has appeared hovering over the ruins of an ancient castle. The telltale blue glow of its engines and wolf's paw insignia is a surefire indication of the presence of the Nachtwolf. Rogue Nachtwolf engineer Johannes Vester has been convinced that a centuries-old legend about a baron who discovered magical sapphires in the mine beneath the castle, a motherload of prized Blauer Kristall awaits, ample fuel to power his nightmare experiments. Section M quickly dispatches a team to reach these remote mountains to investigate. But things are rarely as simple as they seem in the Secret War, and the agents must observe, gain information, overcome foes both mortal and uncanny, and ultimately thwart Nachtwolf's plans by eliminating the threat of the Hugin by any means necessary. Just another standard day at the office, then. The Romanian Imperative is a 32-page PDF adventure for 4 to 6 agents and comes with both full-color and printer-friendly versions. Features an intriguing mission which requires a mix of skills including exploration, stealth, and combat. It's a fascinating adventure on an often forgotten front, which can be run as a one-off or easily incorporated into an ongoing campaign. But you do require the Achtung Cthulhu 2D20 core books in order to play. The 32-page adventure is available in PDF over at Drive-Thru RPG for $6.99. And we will have a review of the Romanian Imperative soon. I am about to assign it to one of my correspondents to do a review of it. So I got a copy from Modiphius. So, of course, I did not do the review myself personally for the Achtung Cthulhu 2D20 core books. And I got to be honest, I don't know if I'm going to see copies to shoot videos of. But I figured, hey, got the new adventure, gonna assign it. Got a lot of cool role-playing game stuff that's coming soon. Coming soon. I know Haunted West from Chris Spivey will be taking a look at that as well. Mel Winius from York has joined us. It's been a while since we've seen Mel in chat. Welcome back. Good to see you. Kicking back. That is it for the news tonight. And of course, I was just talking about Drive-Thru RPG. There was some discussion about the new design crashing. Yeah. But I do want to point out that the Gaming Gang, thus the Dispatch, is affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you are going to go visit, say, Drive-Thru RPG, by all means, please stop by thegaminggang.com first. Click on one of our ads. And that way, if you happen to make a purchase, I get a little portion of that sale. All those nickels, dimes, and quarters really do help keep thegaminggang.com around. And there are quite a few people who are even mentioning it in chat who utilize those links when they make purchases at, say, Drive-Thru RPG or Dungeon Masters Guild and things like that. So thank you. Much appreciated. Really, really do love the fact that people do that. Also, got to say, if you like the videos I do, if you like the channel and the website, and you think it's, worthwhile to hang out and watch or read or visit, you can always buy me a cup of coffee or soda by going to paypal.me/thegaminggang. And once again, there's some folks out there, some folks who are in chat right now who do, make a little donation here or there, And once again, really, really helps out. Very, very cool. So I think there's some discussion about different role-playing games that people own but haven't ran. Oh, man. Don't get me started on that. Although I have to admit, I probably didn't. I was going to say back in the day, I probably had more role-playing games than I do now. And when I was not a reviewer or anything like that. But no, I don't think that's true. I think I've got quite a few more now. But I was famous for picking stuff up and not running it. All right, so there were a few things I wanted to mention before we jump into our first look at the Pathfinder and Starfinder adventures tonight. So I'm bouncing around going to PAX Unplugged because I have a press pass to go to PAX Unplugged. I had the last two PAX Unplugged. I don't think they had one last year, or they canceled. I thought they canceled it. I don't think they had it. So I'm kind of bouncing around going, I don't know, though, because it would only be me again, which, if it's Gen Con, that's one thing. I know the area. So it's like, I know where I'm going to go for lunch, and I have a good idea where I'm going to go, have dinner and things like that. And I know so many people in the industry that it's kind of like, I usually have somebody to hang out with. I don't know if that'd be the case in Philadelphia. And it's more having to wear the mask all day long, which was a real drag at Gen Con. Especially since I was wearing different kinds of masks, because I didn't want to just wear a medical mask, because I thought that was boring. So I had some Marvel Comics masks, stuff like that. The problem was that they were fine for like little short periods, but to wear them for a couple of hours, they got really shitty. Just kind of sweaty inside. Well, it wasn't really sweat. It's breathing, right? It's condensation, I guess. And I don't know. I just up in the air. I don't know if anybody in chat is planning on going to PAX Unplugged. One of the reasons why I really want to go is because I have yet to go. I have heard it is a very cool convention. And if you don't go to conventions and get press passes and don't go, they don't tend to give you press passes again. So I've had press passes a couple of times previously and didn't go, mainly because Elliot always backed out. And because it falls like right at Thanksgiving, oddly enough. It's like the smaller Comic-Con this year on San Diego. We were going to go, but they gave us one press pass, and it's the week of Thanksgiving. It's like it kicks off like on Black Friday, and it's like, what? It's like crazy, 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 crazy. All right. Anyway, so if you are going to be hanging out at PAX Unplugged, let me know. Throw something in the comment section, something like that. At least at Gen Con, I got to hang out with some folks every night. Well, there was one night I played it chill and just hung out by myself and really didn't do much. But I don't know. I got to be honest. I mean, I can stay right downtown, and it's not very expensive compared to staying downtown Indianapolis for Gen Con. So I can get a room at like I think it was the Marriott or Sheridan, and it's like an 8-minute walk to the convention center. Of course, it is in December, so it's got like 8-minute walk in December in Philly. So, did want to mention that. The other thing, also, once again, I talked about this last night. I'm going to mention it again tonight. I am looking at spending the month of January kind of looking at old school Renaissance role-playing games, although they don't have to specifically be OSR role-playing games, just OSR-ish. And I'm calling it old school for the new year. And I'm reaching out to companies that I've never worked with before to see if they might be interested in providing some review copies of stuff so I can share coverage of their games. So if there's a company out there that you would really like to see me cover that I have not reviewed in the past, let me know in the comments. Just so you know, I have touched base and talked to the fine folks over at Castles and Crusades. Looks like we've got something cooking there. I did reach out to D101 Games. I believe Newt is the person who, I think it's Newton. I think that was it. Who runs that. I reached out. I'm trying to reach out to Bloat Games. There's no contact on their website. And well, I take that back. There is a contact link, but you have to sign in and create an account. And I even went and looked at Facebook, and like their Facebook page is like only shared for certain people. And I was like, because I had somebody say, hey, I'd love to see you check out Crips and things. I said, okay. So 245 Triaxon asks if I've reviewed Knave. I have not. Although I do believe, and I might be wrong, I think there's a new edition. I think there's a second edition of Knave that is available, I think, through Patreon. I think that might be the case. But once again, I'm not going to do any reviews of PDFs. They have to be physical books or magazines, zines, what have you, because I don't like trying to create videos with PDFs. I find them boring. And then I have to when I'm doing the news, I have to share images from the PDFs like I'm doing a news piece. and it's like I said, I find it kind of boring. I really do. So Christopher says RPGs absolutely helped them relate with their daughter when she was in her teens, and now she's 26 and a Pathfinder dungeon master. That's cool. I believe they're game masters in Pathfinder. They're only dungeon masters in D&D. Although Christopher said DM, so it could have been something else. So there. That is very cool. 245 Trioxin, by the way, has joined us in chat. Good to see you. All righty. That's it. I just want to kind of tackle those things. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a first look at the two new adventures that are coming from Paizo Inc. So first off, we're going to be taking a look at Pathfinder Adventure Path 173, which is Doorway to the Red Star. It's written by Michael Sayer. This 92-page soft cover carries an MSRP of $24.99. You can grab the PDF for $17.99. As I mentioned, PDF's available tomorrow. I think these are hitting stores tomorrow. So let's swing on over to the other camera because here we've got Doorway to the Red Star. So, few things. First off, the fine folks over at Paizo Inc. have provided me with both Doorway to the Red Star as well as Whispers of the Eclipse as far as review copies, but neither I nor anyone else affiliated with the Gaming Gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share any sort of video coverage or my thoughts about these books at all. So, want to point that out to you. We are not going to look at each and every page. I just want to kind of give you an idea of what these adventures look like, kind of give you a feel for them. There are spoilers, even just paging through a few parts of these. There's going to be spoilers with images and things like that. So if you are a player and you're hoping that your game master is going to run either of these adventures, I would probably say see you tomorrow. Don't want to ruin the surprise, right? So with the Strength of Thousands Adventure Path, I am not familiar with this at all. I am not doing the reviews for this adventure path. Sammy Uhas is doing the adventure path review. So I got to be the first to point out, I have a little bit of an idea what's going on in this adventure path, but not a lot. So, also, I'm going to stay picture in picture up here, so I'm going to be cutting off the upper left portion of the book. So, let's take a look at the back. Soar above a planet of adventure, armed with the knowledge that a long-vanished ally, I almost said vanquished, lies on the other side of a magical portal called the Doorway to the Red Star. The heroes must earn the trust of the portal's guardians and then travel through it to a planet of red sands and high adventure, working to gain allies among scholarly brain creatures and shifty rat folk. The heroes infiltrate a massive airship and fight to free their ally from an insidious trap. Spoilers! I always laugh how it's like any player out there could just go to the store and be like, okay, so I see what's happening there. I don't even have to open the book. I'm looking at the back. The Strength of Thousands Adventure Path continues with Doorway to the Red Star, a complete adventure for 13th to 17th level characters. That's right, this is part 5 of 6. So Christopher says they have to run. Good to see you, Christopher. Thanks for hanging out. So Madman says, I like how Savage World Game Masters are called different things based on the setting. They're the Dean and East Texas University, Marshall and Deadlands. Omanel says, I think Game Mother from Alien is my favorite. I would have to say, in my opinion, I find Game Mother the weirdest. And I understand why it's there in Alien. I get it. I completely understand. I do find it weird. Okay, so we're going to jump on in here. So we've got 3 chapters. Then we've got our, it looks like we get kind of a breakdown of an NPC as well as our adventure toolbox. So we've got one of the maps out here. I got to mention, this clocks in at 92 pages. It's a few pages shorter than we normally see in the Pathfinder Adventure Path. They're usually about 96 to 98. But I want to say, I think last month's ran over 100 pages. So it kind of evens out in the end. So it says Chapter 1, Pranksters and Preparations. In this 5th installment of the Strength of Thousands Adventure Path, the heroes prepare for their expedition to the plaza of the Doorway to the Red Star during another semester at school. At the end of the semester, the expedition sets off. So it looks like kind of a prep. If you're not familiar with the Strength of Thousands Adventure Path, it takes place in the Moangai Expanse. The player characters start off as students at the famed magic university and eventually become teachers. They become staff. And that is where they're at this point. I believe that, well, I'm sure that they're staff members because I'm almost positive the previous adventure, they're already teachers at the school. So kind of give you an idea of what we've got inside here. Learning to drive. I'm kind of surprised by this adventure path, though, because it seems as if it's suddenly taking a complete left turn as I move my hand right, making a complete left turn from the adventure path so far, because it almost seems as if the player characters are transported almost like to Mars. I know it's a red star. And I kind of get the impression that they're going to be experiencing sort of a John Carter-ish fantasy adventure. I don't know. So it looks like quite a lot going on in this first chapter. Okay, so now we get to our next chapter. There we go. So we've got, I had a feeling we were going to get some sort of flyer in this adventure as well. So we've got Beyond the Door. The heroes arrive on Eclipse and should notice the thin air and light gravity right away. Well, let's see. Thin air would be bad. Light gravity is good. So there is a John Carter vibe right there. Cool looking map. And I guess there we go. I was going to say there's supposed to be these brain creatures who are not evil, although that looks pretty spooky. That's kind of creepy there, right? The Ravager of Tindalos. Well, isn't that a little nod to the mythos there? The tip of the cap? Is the Hound of Tindalos, is that from a Lovecraft story? I'm trying to remember if it's from a Lovecraft story, if it's from a god-awful Derleth story. I think it's the Lovecraft story. It's kind of taking a look through. Ah, there we go. You got an auto turret. Now, is it me or does that sort of look like a green Martian? A little bit. With those big tusks. I have to say that Sammy has really enjoyed this adventure path. I don't think she's given any of the adventures a score lower than an 8. I'll be honest, I think I'm a little more critical as a reviewer on role-playing games and things like that. But like I said, she has really, really enjoyed, if I remember correctly, the last chapter 4, she really liked quite a lot. So we have Eclipse the Red. So I think this is the planet. I think they're out on the planet now. Again, just kind of skipping along. So this was chapter 3. And that's thousands and thousands. Okay, and then we get Act on the Red, which is the planet, right? Okay. And then we get into the Adventure Toolbox. So we've got some new magic items or new items. We've got some new weapons. We've got some new creatures, some new bestiary entries as well. The Glutton Worm. All of a sudden it's like green Martian, red Martian. It's like, whoa. No, we're not going to see that. The King of Biting Ants. Megalomaniacal Sorcerer. I guess there's our big bad. Maybe. All right. And next month, Shadow of the Ancients. I think that's the last one, right? Yep. There we go. Strength of the Thousands. Stay tuned because Sammy's going to have a review of this shortly. I would think probably in the next week or so. Now let's take a look at Whispers of the Eclipse for Starfinder. I am actually in the midst of doing reviews. They are video reviews of this adventure path. So I'm not going to read everything on the back here, but kind of give you a feel. Night Court. A neighboring charter reaches out for assistance when their leaders go missing. After tracking the team to a lush jungle valley inhabited by alien dinosaurs, spoilers! The PCs discover that the expedition was teleported to the ancient Aslanti lunar base. Can the PCs rescue their fellow explorers from the darkness that lurks there? Bum, bum, bum. All right, let's jump on in. Do want to mention that this 62-page softcover is written by Kate Baker, carries an MSRP of $22.99. You can grab the PDF for $15.99 beginning tomorrow. So this is also broken down into 3 chapters. So we're going to start off, got a new starship, new spaceship. They're not always starships. Sometimes they're smaller craft. But each Starfinder Adventure Path chapter does include a new ship. Gonna once again skip through. This is not a review, even though I'm ready to do my review. I just wanted to give you a first look at this. So the first chapter, the player characters are contacted by another charter. If you're not familiar with this adventure path, what's going on here is the player characters are part of a charter on a world that is being colonized. Now, of course, they're not the only charter there. There are quite a few different charters. And in the last adventure, the player characters had to deal with some interlopers who had built a town on their charter's property effectively. So that was pretty interesting. So here now they've been contacted by another charter out there, and their leader has disappeared. Their leader is an android. I'm starting to give too much away, so let's keep moving along. So the player characters are going to find themselves in a mysterious valley, this kind of like lost valley. And there's a reason why nobody really knows what's in there. I'll talk about that in my review. And there's some dinosaurs. Everybody loves dinosaurs, right? So player characters find a way to teleport to this moon base, which the space elves had built. Or no, I'm sorry, I take that back. They didn't build it. But the base here in the Lost Valley is the space elves. And the moon base was built by the Islanti. I think that's how it's pronounced. All right, so the second chapter takes them through the Lost Valley. Third chapter is going to take them to the moon, and they are going to be facing a couple of big bads, actually. Talk more about that in my review. So then we got our adventure toolbox. Now, in the Starfinder Adventure Path, once again, you always have a ship. You always have more information about a planet, as well as some, like as an example here, we get discussion about the spacefaring elves, which I thought was kind of interesting. We get some bestiary entries, some new creatures. This one here can become a companion to you. It's kind of a cool little, it's probably about yay big. I almost start going like this. It's like, yeah, it's this big. You can tell how high my hands are, right? I think it's about like this big. So, memory serves. And then we have some new entries for vampires, different kinds of vampires. And there's our Codex of Worlds, where this is actually way down a 3 is where they're at. And then, of course, next month is Icebound. So that'll be chapter 4 of the Adventure Path. So this is Whispers of the Eclipse. This is Adventure Path number 42 for Starfinder. I will have my review of this next, I should say this coming weekend. I'll shoot my review for it and tell you what I think. So there you have Whispers of the Eclipse and Doorway to the Red Star, the 2 new adventure paths that are available in November from Paizo Inc. And the PDFs will arrive tomorrow. Let's swing on over to the other camera. I gotta be honest, I really kind of want to read this adventure path, but I have so much RPG stuff that I need to shoot videos of and do reviews of in that. And Sammy's already doing the reviews for it. So it's got to like, I try not to double dip too often. I know sometimes the publishers ask for me to personally do a review of something that I've had someone else do a review of, and that's fine. That's okay. I've had Chaosium do that. And I usually try not to double dip. All right, that is it. Boy, chat got quiet. Everybody tuned out. They're like, okay, news is over. I don't play Pathfinder or Starfinder. I'm leaving. I have to say, though, last night we had a good crowd watching. I believe we hit about 108 viewers, I should say, during last night's stream, where we were taking a look at the RuneQuest starter set. So I gotta say that's one of the bigger crowds we've had recently to check out the show. Speaking of the show, that's it. That's it for this time out. If you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. If you do subscribe, ding that bell. I'll not only let you know when the Dispatch streams live, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evenings, right here on YouTube at 7 p.m. Central. Also inform you when I upload other videos, such as my upcoming review of Galaxy Trucker from Czech Games Edition. Ben Jared popped into chat. Very cool. Ben says it's been great listening while they're working. Yeah, you know what? It's kind of funny. I know there are a few people who've told me. One of them is actually my buddy Herman Letman, game designer extraordinaire, that a lot of times he'll listen to the show as he commutes. He doesn't watch it, but he listens to the show. Although he's retired now, I think he just listens when he's driving around. All righty. Of course, keep in mind, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Tomorrow, it's a War Game Wednesday. I am going to be unboxing and taking a first look at Tank Duel's first major expansion from GMT Games. It is the North Africa expansion. New decks of cards, new tanks, new rules. Looking forward to this. And as a bonus, we are going to take a peek at Tank Pack 1 for Tank Duel as well. So if you are into war games at all, if you haven't checked out my review of Tank Duel, check it out. This is a very cool game. And it is not difficult to get into. And you can get like 8 or 10 people playing. With that expansion, I bet you can get quite a few more than that. So that's on tomorrow's show. Those of you who watch live, thank you very much. I always appreciate you taking some time to hang out, keeping me company in chat so I don't feel like a complete doofus. Just speaking into a camera, into the ether. So Daniel Silverthorne has popped in. I think that this might be the first time we've heard from Daniel. Welcome aboard. Says, oh, they can't make it Wednesday. They'll have to watch later. Oh, yeah, it's easy. It's easy. And if you watch after the fact, a lot of times you don't even have to deal with the news if you don't want to. There's timestamps. You just go, bing. Oh, that's what they're at. Bing. I'll go look at that. Anyway, speaking of watching after the fact, I know a lot of people don't have an opportunity to watch this stream live. Thank you so much for watching it after it finishes. Hell, you might even be using Memorex. I don't know. But I appreciate each and every one of you for taking time out to watch these videos. I really do. I really do appreciate it. Anyway, I'll be back tomorrow. And of course, until I see you next time, here's hoping you always have an opportunity to get plenty of great gaming in with your very own gang. Thanks, everybody. See you tomorrow. Oh, you're still here. Well, while you're kicking it, how about subscribing to the Gaming Gang channel or seeing the latest episode of the Gaming Gang Dispatch or finding out what YouTube recommends you check out here at my channel. And of course, don't forget, get your geek on at thegaminggang.com.